All right, yo, peace, Islam, salam. Brother Bandele El-Amin coming at you. I got my brother right here. I want him to introduce himself.
I'm in Maat Ra Bey for the Moorish Republic of New Kemit.
All right. And brother's deep into metaphysics, and he's written several books. Why don't you tell us about, what your books are about?
Primarily, the whole Pan-African experience. I deal with melanin, the chemical component that creates the black skin tones in black humans. My studies go into metaphysics, be it Kemetic or Egyptian sciences, all the way to the Olmec Mayan and all of our African ancestors who left behind a spiritual and a metaphysical legacy for us to dovetail on.
Okay. So what's the name of one of your books?
The primary focus that I'll be re-releasing, I have several books, but the main book that I'll be editing and re-releasing will be the Melanin Matrix, which primarily deals with melanin. It gives a moderate introduction into the understanding of melanin and its place in the field of metaphysics.
So, what is melanin?
Now, melanin is the chemical component that creates the rich black skin tones that you see in black humans. Melanin in of itself is a conscious chemical component. Often it's just defined in Western society and Western medicine as a pigment that creates color. But this chemical, this conscious cosmic intelligence is essentially responsible for the maintenance of the human body. The four major bodily systems of the body being the respiratory, digestive, reproductive, and circulatory system. Melanin plays a primary role in the orchestration of these bodily systems. Even when we look at higher brain functions and all cognitive activity, even your sleep patterns, melanin maintains that and sets the standard for the human body.
So when you say like sleep patterns, I know melatonin is what you use for sleep. I mean, how does melatonin play a part with melanin?
Because melatonin and even serotonin, they are derivatives that alter and affect your mood, your psyche, and your overall demeanor. Because often when you look at people with depression, suicidal tendencies, things of this nature, they tend to have a problem or a deficiency in melatonin, which is a primary derivative of melanin. Because primarily most chemicals, especially when you look at your glandular system, when you look at all the glands that secrete, primarily all the secretions are derivatives of melanin, or they're governed and dictated by the melanin superstructure.
So you're saying like melanin got its own consciousness?
True indeed, because when we look at melanin, all of our galaxies are given birth to by suns. We know that light is born through darkness. So what we see as light is the Father, but the matrix is feminine, the dark matter that is rooted in every solar system, every star system, every galaxy is comprised and composed of dark matter. Now, when this dark matter is transmuted and rests in the human, it is called melanin. So what we call melanin essentially is a reference to the metaphysical and the spiritual aspects of the carbon atom. Now, on a periodical table, that is number 6, and the carbon component is the component that the human, the corporeal body or physical body is built up on. So that's what gives us our solidity in the third dimension. And the aspects of it that are metaphysical and that lead into more spiritual aspects, we call that melanin. But when we speak of melanin, we're speaking of the congregation or collection of carbon atoms from the universe that were taken, titrated, transmuted, and placed into a human form so it could thrive on any planetary system and raise in consciousness in correspondence to its primary sun.
So Africans or dark-skinned people have melanin.
True.
So what about the Europeans?
The European also possesses melanin, The problem comes in when often you'll hear the debate, you'll hear science and metaphysical researchers come on the scene. They'll often say that Europeans or the Caucasian race does not produce melanin. It's not that they don't produce melanin, because if they didn't produce melanin, they would not be able to survive on this planet. What's going on is the molecular weight is not in harmony with what's required to maintain life on this planet. The Caucasian or the European produces a form of melanin that's known as pheomelanin, which is a artificial or hybridized version of the original or indigenous melanin that you see in human beings or black humans, known as eumelanin. Now, pheomelanin, pound for pound under the microscope, almost looks the same as eumelanin, except for it's deficient, it's unstable, the chemical reactivity is not the same. So essentially, you're looking at eumelanin, what you find in black indigenous human beings, as something that was created by cosmic intelligence, something that was naturally evolved from the birth of the sun to the birth of the planetary star system, versus pheomelanin found in Europeans that has no natural point of origin or no natural evolution, meaning that just by looking at its deficiencies and incomplete cellular and molecular structures, it was hybridized. It was either grafted, cloned, or artificially engineered through science, versus what you find in genetically dominant black humans that is a byproduct of cosmic evolution.
Wow, man, that sounds like Yakub theory, where they had the scientists.
Exactly. We see suggestions of this in all cultures, all religious walks. When we look at the term Adam, if you were to go to the Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics and look up the word Adam, from its Hebrew root, Hadim or Dim is a reference to a pink skin or ruddy race. Ruddy race means rosy, flushed skin, meaning a reference to Caucasians. So even in reference to biblical dogma or theology in the Christian Bible, when we look at Adam, we are looking at a reference to the creation of the white race. A Spanish monk by the name of Scotto found some texts that later became called the men before Adam of Eve, when even in Christianity it speaks of before the creation of Adam, there was a race of great men who existed, and those great men created Adam. So even within the body and collective works of Christianity, we see references to an artificial race being silently created. When you look in the book of Genesis, it says, "Let us create man in our image." So who are these men created, and who was the original image? We can go into science and see who's genetically dominant, who's genetically recessive. So that's where melanin comes in, because eumelanin, again, what is found in genetically dominant black humans, black Africans, is what is created by cosmic intelligence versus something that was engineered by a collective of scientists or an unseen hand that created something that's human-like and introduced it amongst the original peoples. So that's what we're dealing with. That's the gauge we have. We can go from how melanin plays a critical part in every natural bodily function in your body, and we can take it all the way and weave it through the Bible when we start looking at concepts and allegories such as Adam and Eve. When you speak of Adam and Eve, just the minute you say Adam, again, we can go to the Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics, and when we look up the word Adam, you will see that it's a reference strictly to the European or the Caucasian race, which is fairly new to this planet.
Wow. So you believe that the Europeans were somehow manufactured and they're using an unstable form of melanin?
Yes. I would say that we're looking at a byproduct of a sacred and forgotten form of alchemy. Because when we get deep into the Kabbalistic mysteries, just to touch lightly on some of the topics I'm dealing with, when you get into the older accounts, the Talmud says that